Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. and I make videos all about the journey of starting a candle business. And today's video, I wanted to go over 3 common misconceptions that I often hear when it comes to shipping candles. So let's jump right into it. Misconception number 1 is that you are not actually allowed to ship out candles at all. I've heard this multiple times throughout the years. People have reached out to me and said, hey, I've heard that you're not allowed to ship candles, or I went to the post office and the person behind the counter told me that I wasn't allowed to ship out candles. I really don't know where that's coming from. There are so many people all over the country that are shipping out candles all the time, so many different candle companies, and we're all able to ship out our candles. The only thing that I can think of is I will leave a reference in the description box below. It will take you over to the USPS restrictions list, and you can look over and see all of the items that are restricted. Now, the only thing that I can think of is that maybe the person behind the counter is getting it confused with shipping out fragrance oil by itself. Now, shipping out fragrance oil and shipping out a candle is completely different. When you are blending a small amount of that fragrance oil with a candle, it's fine, and it doesn't work the same way that it does with an actual bottle of fragrance oil. Now, if you are shipping out a bottle of fragrance oil, you just need to make sure that the flash point of that fragrance oil is above 141 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything under 141 degrees Fahrenheit cannot be shipped by air. It has to be shipped ground. That's the only thing that I can possibly think of. I've never personally ran into any issues. Even when it comes to international shipping, I've never had any issues. I've shipped all over the place: Germany, Australia, Sweden, Italy. I've shipped everywhere, and I've never had any issues. And on the customs form, you have to list what the item is. And again, I've never had any issues. I've shipped all over, from using UPS and using USPS, all over the country with domestic shipping. And again, I've never had any issues. There's no restriction. I've never seen anything like that. So don't be worried about that if you've heard that before. As far as I know, you're not going to get in trouble or anything. Just make sure that you're following all the rules when it comes to actually picking the correct shipping label for your box and everything like that. Side note, for anybody that is struggling with the shipping process, you either have no idea how to ship out candles, how to print out labels, how to charge for shipping on your website, or anything that encompasses that whole process, I am working on a mastering shipping course, and you are more than welcome to sign up for the waitlist. I will have it linked in the comment section down below in case you are interested in finding out when the course is open and ready for enrollment. It's just there to help anybody from start to finish get way more confident when it comes to shipping. Misconception number 2, or maybe this is just something that you're not really aware of or not too sure about, is that you have to have your home address on the return address on the shipping label. So when you are shipping out a package, you have the sender's address and then you have the return address. So what I did in the beginning was I did use my actual home address. When I was doing eBay for all those years, I did my regular home address. I didn't have any issues with it, until something very weird happened, and somebody actually had contacted my apartment complex to try to get me in trouble, essentially, for running a candle business. Little did they know that my apartment complex is very supportive, and they have purchased from me many times before. So joke's on them, but it was just a very weird thing to happen, and it kind of freaked me out. And so now I actually have a business mailbox. So the business mailbox is something, I believe it's a little bit different than a PO box. I think that if you are getting certain things delivered to you to that address, I think that there's certain restrictions on PO boxes, but I think business mailboxes are a little bit more like a real address, kind of. I don't really know anything about virtual addresses that you can get online. I don't really know how that works, but that might be something for you to look into as well. But I do pay yearly for my business mailbox. I believe it's a few $100s a year to have this business mailbox, but it works out really, really well for me. And especially with me being on YouTube, I just need kind of that extra layer of protection on top of everything with, you know, you never know. I've had some weird people, you guys. I've had some weird things happen. So I just need to make sure that I am protecting myself, and I do suggest that you do the same. So don't think that you have to put your regular home address on your packages. If it makes you uncomfortable, look into either getting a P.O. box, business mailbox, anything that you are able to actually get a return package back to you in case anything happens, because sometimes you'll get returns or sometimes there's an issue with the package actually being delivered to the sender. So you have to make sure that you have a place for the package to come back to. But I highly recommend you look into that, and just know that you don't have to have your home address on there. And the final misconception is that shipping breakable items is very scary and it's bound to break in transit because the USPS and UPS drivers are just absolutely crazy with packages. That one may not be a misconception. I'm sure they are pretty crazy with packages, but I do think that there are ways to make sure that your package does not break in transit, or ways to minimize it as much as possible. So I will link a video above right here. I have a video all about how to essentially minimize your risks or keep your candles from breaking during transit. And I have different ideas for you to think about when it comes to packaging up your candles. If that's stopping you, or something that is making you feel like this is bound to happen, or it's going to happen every single time you ship out candles. I'm not saying that it never will happen. I've had candles break during shipment before. It has happened. I've kind of learned over the years different ways of preventing it and the best practices to go about it. So just know that that's not something that should stop you from starting a candle business. I know that going from selling clothing on eBay, which clothing, I mean, the least breakable item possible, like nothing's gonna happen. You just need to make sure that the package can't be torn and it's gonna be fine. And I remember when I was reselling on eBay, I would stay away from anything breakable because I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with the process of packaging it up. So I understand kind of the thought process of just not wanting to deal with things that can break. But once you get the hang of it and kind of do it multiple times and see what works and find the best fitting boxes for your candles, it becomes way easier, and it's just kind of rinse and repeat. And again, you may need to do some test shipments to different people that you know from different states, and just kind of see if the way that you're packaging it up is going to work. But at the end of the day, it really is just a matter of trial and error with that. I went through a lot of different packaging styles and boxes and all that kind of stuff with my candles to see what worked the best. And so far, the way that I do it now seems to be working really, really well. But I do not want the fear of your candles breaking stopping you from actually starting your candle business or actually getting online with your candle business, because there's so many people to sell to online. But that is going to do it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave this video a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at MemoryBoxCandleCo. And I will see you in my next video.